In 600 BC, in the ancient kingdom of Lydia, in what is now Western Turkey, something happened that changed human civilization forever. A king named Eliades minted the world's first standardized coins, not from gold, from silver. They were called electrum at first, a natural alloy of gold and silver pulled from the sands of the river Pactolus. But his son, Croesus, refined the process. He separated the metals and minted pure silver coins. For the first time, a shepherd in Sardis and a merchant in Babylon could agree on the value of a transaction without knowing each other, without trust, without barter. Silver didn't just become money. Silver invented money as we understand it. 3,000 years earlier, in the tombs of pre-dynastic Egypt, archaeologists found silver objects buried more carefully than gold. In that era, silver was rarer than gold in Egypt because Egypt had no silver mines. Every piece had to travel from far away, possibly across the entire Mediterranean. The Egyptians called it hedge, the white metal, and believed it was the bones of the moon god Khonsu. Across every ancient civilization, by the Phoenicians who built trade empires on it, the Romans who called their treasury the aerarium and filled it with silver, the Spanish Empire that tore open an entire continent to extract it. The same pattern repeated. Silver was not ordinary metal. It was cosmic, sacred, the metal of the moon. They were wrong about the moon, but they were right that it came from the sky. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how silver is forged in the most violent events in the universe. You will see the moment scientists watched it being born in real time. You will discover why silver kills bacteria, and why ancient people knew this thousands of years before germ theory existed. And you will learn why, despite being 17 times more abundant than gold in the Earth's crust, silver is still considered precious. So let's find out where silver actually comes from. First, you need to understand the same fundamental limit that applies to all heavy elements. A star is a war between two forces. Gravity pulls inward, trying to crush everything. Nuclear fusion pushes outward, releasing energy by smashing small atoms into bigger ones. Hydrogen fuses into helium, helium into carbon, carbon into oxygen. Each step releases energy, and that energy keeps the star alive. But fusion hits a wall at iron. Element 26. When a star's core turns to iron, fusion stops releasing energy. It starts consuming it. The star loses its outward push, gravity wins, and the star dies. This means stars can only build elements up to iron. Silver is element 47. It is nearly twice as heavy as iron. Our sun, burning at 15 million degrees Celsius at its core, will never produce a single atom of silver. The sun is not violent enough. Silver is not made in gentle stars. Silver requires something far more extreme. To build silver, you need a process called the R process, rapid neutron capture. The idea is this: you have to slam so many neutrons into an atomic nucleus so fast that it doesn't have time to decay before it becomes a heavier element, over and over, building up the periodic table one neutron at a time at blinding speed. This requires densities of free neutrons that simply do not exist anywhere calm in the universe. For decades, scientists argued about where the R process actually happens. There were two main candidates: supernova explosions, the deaths of massive stars, and neutron star mergers. Then, on August 17, 2017, the debate was settled. At 12:41:04 UTC, the LIGO and Virgo gravitational wave detectors recorded a signal unlike anything they had seen before. It was not the sharp chirp of two black holes colliding. It was a longer, slower spiral. Two neutron stars, each containing roughly the mass of our sun, crushed into a sphere about 20 kilometers across, spiraling into each other at roughly one-third the speed of light. The event was designated GW170817. It occurred in the galaxy NGC 4993, approximately 130 million light-years away, meaning the collision itself happened under 30 million years ago, when dinosaurs still roamed the Earth. 1.7 seconds after the gravitational wave signal, NASA's Fermi Space Telescope detected a short gamma-ray burst from the same location. 11 hours after that, optical telescopes found a glowing fireball, a kilonova. Over the following days, as the kilonova faded, its light shifted from blue to red. That color change was not random. It was the radioactive glow of freshly forged heavy elements, including gold, platinum, and silver, decaying in real time. For the first time in human history, we watched silver being created. A 2017 paper published in Science by Pian et al. An independent analysis by Kaysen et al. In Nature confirmed that this single collision produced enormous quantities of heavy R process elements. Estimates suggest several Earth masses of gold and comparable quantities of silver were created in seconds. Neutron star mergers are now thought to be responsible for roughly half of all elements heavier than iron in the observable universe. Silver forged in ancient neutron star collisions drifted through space as Gaussian dust. About 4.6 billion years ago, a molecular cloud in our galaxy began to collapse under its own gravity. As it collapsed, it formed the sun at the center and the planets around it, including Earth. The silver was already there, baked into the materials that built our planet. But like gold, most of it disappeared. Silver, like gold, is siderophile. It chemically bonds with iron. During Earth's early molten phase, when the planet's interior was largely liquid, silver sank with iron toward the core in a process called planetary differentiation. The vast majority of Earth's silver is now locked in the metallic core, completely beyond our reach. The silver that humans have ever mined, melted, and traded, every ancient coin, every piece of jewelry, every solar panel, came from a much later event. Between approximately 4.1 and 3.8 billion years ago, during what geologists call the late heavy bombardment, a wave of asteroids and comets pelted the inner solar system. These impactors delivered a fresh veneer of heavy elements, including silver, to Earth's surface and mantle. This is confirmed by the same tungsten isotope evidence used for gold. Ancient rocks from Greenland's Usua Formation preserved the isotopic signature of Earth's mantle before this veneer arrived, distinct from modern rocks that show the mixed signature after. Every gram of silver ever extracted from the ground fell from the sky, delivered by asteroids, billions of years after Earth was already born. Now here is where silver gets genuinely strange. Why does silver kill bacteria? Ancient civilizations knew it did, without knowing why. The Phoenicians stored water and wine in silver vessels to keep them fresh on long sea voyages. Greek and Roman physicians described silver's healing properties. Soldiers placed silver coins in their water to prevent infection. Cyrus the Great of Persia reportedly transported water in silver containers during military campaigns. For thousands of years, this was practical knowledge with no scientific explanation. Modern microbiology now understands the mechanism. Silver ions, positively charged silver atoms that have lost an electron, are extraordinarily toxic to bacteria. They bind to bacterial cell membranes, disrupt their ability to produce energy and replicate DNA, and essentially shut down cellular metabolism. A 2012 study published in the Journal of Bacteriology by Morones Ramirez et al. Showed that silver ions can enhance the effect of antibiotics by a factor of up to 1,000 against resistant strains. The ancient world had stumbled onto real chemistry. The moon's metal, they called it. The healing metal. And they were not entirely wrong. Here is the question almost nobody thinks to ask. Why is silver gray? Most metals are gray. Iron is gray. Nickel is gray. Lead is gray. Gold is the famous exception. It is yellow because, as the Atlas Veil Gold video explained, its inner electrons move at nearly half the speed of light, and relativistic effects cause it to absorb blue light and reflect yellow. Silver is also heavy enough that relativistic effects matter. But in silver, those effects work out differently. Silver's electron configuration means its relativistic correction shifts the absorption of light out of the visible spectrum entirely. Silver reflects all visible wavelengths almost equally well. The result is a near-perfect mirror. Silver is literally the most reflective element on Earth. With 95% reflectivity in the visible spectrum, no other natural material comes close. The ancient association with the moon was not superstition, it was observation. Silver and the moon share the same essential property. Both are extraordinary mirrors for sunlight. Here is the paradox at the heart of silver. Silver is approximately 17 times more abundant than gold in the Earth's crust. By that measure, it should not be particularly rare. Yet it has been treated as precious by every major civilization in human history. The reason is chemistry. Unlike gold, silver reacts. It tarnishes. It bonds with sulfur compounds in the atmosphere to form silver sulfide, on the black coating you see on old silverware. More importantly, silver is almost never found in concentrated pure deposits. It is usually bonded to other minerals: argentite, silver sulfide; chlorargyrite, silver chloride; native silver mixed in quartz veins, distributed through rock in ways that make extraction genuinely difficult. The world's largest silver deposit is in the Cerro Rico mountain in Potosí, Bolivia, a mountain so rich the Spanish called it the Cerro que puede hacer un puente de plata hasta España, the mountain that could build a silver bridge all the way to Spain. Between 1545 and 1800, it produced an estimated 45,000 tons of silver, roughly one-fifth of all the silver extracted in that period globally. It also killed an estimated 8 million people. Indigenous workers and enslaved Africans worked to death in its tunnels under Spanish colonial rule. The silver that funded the Spanish Empire and bankrolled European wars was extracted at a cost that its beneficiaries never had to pay. The philosopher Eduardo Galeano wrote that Potosí silver produced the development of Europe and the underdevelopment of America simultaneously. A cosmic metal forged in the violence of neutron star collisions, delivered to Earth by asteroid bombardment, became the engine of one of history's greatest human catastrophes. Silver began as a neutron star collision, 130 million light-years away. It drifted through space as dust. It was swept into the cloud that became our solar system. It sank into the Earth's core, and only a thin veneer of asteroid-delivered silver remained near the surface for us to find. Ancient people found it, called it the bones of the moon, discovered it could heal wounds, minted it into the world's first coins, and used it to build empires and to destroy them. Today, silver is in your smartphone circuit board. It is in the solar panels converting sunlight into electricity. It is in water purification systems, medical instruments, and mirrors. The metal of the moon has become the metal of the modern world. The Lydians who minted the first coins did not know any of this. They just knew silver was valuable. They had no idea it was born in a collision so violent it bent the fabric of space-time. But every coin they struck, every trade they enabled, every empire that rose on silver's foundation,